Going on, guys? Your boy Anarchy here. Today is April 30th, 2024. A few months before I came back, so to say. Now, I haven't made a video like this in a long time. This isn't like the other dreamers versus realities that I've made. If you can tell by the title, reality check. This is me kind of taking ownership for everything that I've done and haven't done, so to say. And I started with my glass heart video. My I wouldn't really say a prank of quitting. I would say more of I wouldn't say it's a test either. It put a lot of things in perspective, I'll say that. And also, mind you, as I'm recording this is, almost a week after I made that video. I can't say that I'd be lying when I say I wanted a big reaction out of it, because I did. Not some type of like big YouTuber quitting YouTube and wanting all the attention, but I wanted some feedback, and it was like little to none. And before I get started, because I know I'm gonna ramble for a while, this isn't a feel bad for me kind of video or whatever. This is literally a reality check. Like me putting myself in check and just realizing a lot of mistakes that I've made and a lot of things that I want to fix on my part. So this is also, I'm kind of, I thought about today, before I went to work, or as I was going to work. I kind of, this few months, month and a half, however much time I have before I come back, I wanted to, make a bunch of videos to, put on the channel. And the videos were never deleted. They were just privated. Like, I would, even like when I am like actually done, I would never delete all that work. Like, this channel is, well, first and foremost, I never see myself getting big off of this. I think I said that in my welcome back video, or I'm finally back video, whatever it's called, that I posted earlier this year. I was doing like back to back to back uploads and stuff. I've come to the realization that it's not that it's not possible for me to make this a job. It's just, it would be really hard for me to. And even when I came to that realization, it wasn't like a heartbreaking moment. It was just a let's get real type thing. And this is a let's get realer kind of thing. And this doesn't go back on anything I've said in the other dreamer versus reality videos. It's just a lot of things have come in perspective in the last few weeks, I can say, um, of the time of the recording of this video. One of the big things was me not really having anything. When this all started, like this whole thought process started, I was, in the middle of trying to get a different job and get out of this food industry I've been stuck in forever, and it just didn't work out. Thankfully, I covered myself before I left and secured my job if I needed to come back, which I did. And it was almost 2 weeks until I went back to work at Papa John's that I was sitting here in this room with a lot of thoughts to myself, little to nothing to do. I got bored of gaming very quickly. Not that I'm bored of gaming in general. It was just like a month prior, I was, I'd made a Discord server, and well, I've had the Discord server, but like the server was popping off, and we were all always like in there, talking or memeing or playing together or whatever, and then it just happens to like every server I was in just like died. Like everybody stopped talking in it. People were putting their statuses like do not disturb or going invisible. Nobody was reaching out. Same with like real life, like friends and people even that I live with. And I'm not like trying to play the victim role here. It was just when you're secluded the way I was, because I had no money. The week that I took off for vacation, I just paid all my bills, and my last quote unquote last paycheck I was supposed to get from Papa John's was the week after my staycation, and that was also to pay bills. Like I never have money to just like put away to save or spend or whatever. But when I do, I push back a bill so I can live a little bit, not just slave away and pay bills and not live life a little bit. But a lot of time like that to yourself where you have no job. Everyone that you know and talk to are either, at work or spending time with their families or other friends or their significant others or a family they started on their own. And it was another realization that, my circle, we're all growing up. It's been a slow burn for a while. And not a bad way at all. And like I said before, none of this is any kind of whatever towards anybody. If it sounds away, I'm sorry, but it's not. It's just, I had sat here one day and literally said, I'm 26 years old. I still work at a pizza place. That was an ideal job for somebody in high school or, someone who's going to college because of the flexible hours and stuff. But, like, I'm not moving up anywhere. Every time I think I am, it just doesn't happen. It never works out into my favor. And it just, It just doesn't. And a lot of that hit me like a brick wall those 2 weeks. And I just kept thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking about it. And I wanted to stop thinking about it, but I couldn't, which sucked. On top of, nobody really talking to me, even when I reached out. Everyone was too busy, which, like I said, I understand people have lives too. I know the world doesn't revolve around me. It never has. But it put a lot of things in perspective for me. And I've been trying. And I told my friend Josh, because I talked to him a lot about this stuff. I talked to him the most, honestly. I've never been so eager to get out of it, out of the food industry, until now. I've always made the excuse that it was a comfort zone for me. And I've had plenty of people tell me that to be comfortable in life, you have to step out of your comfort zone. And I just feel like I've been this boy trapped in a man's body, wanting to do all this stuff. That just isn't realistic in my current standing. As of right now, the recording of this video, I have about 5 to 6 months to get my crap together. Because this house that I live in now, we won't be living here in 5 to 6 months. Everyone's going to go their separate ways, the people that I live with, and I don't know where I'm going to go. That's another thing that hit me. And I have talked about it to Josh, because we've talked about living together forever. I lived on his couch a big majority of last year, when he had his house and his apartment. And I was still fighting debt, which I still am today. I'm working on it. I always say I'm working on it, but I've actually started making payments and stuff, and but even more so now, because of the pending future of my current situation. And I overthink everything, and I always try to plan ahead. And me planning ahead, especially now, I tried to plan ahead the wrong thing. So I had spoke to him about it, and he always would never give me a straight answer. He would dance around the question. He would, like I said, not give me a straight answer. So I'm in Discord with Woozy one day, and I told him, reading him text messages, telling him conversations we've had, and just describing gestures that Josh would do, or his body language, or whatever. I always told Woozy that I thought it was off-putting, and it just didn't feel right. Well, the main context of the conversation was with me and Josh that I was telling Woozy was, I had this job locked in. All this stuff that was said, I was told this, that, whatever, about this job. And Woozy straight up said, well, you said that before. You said that you're gonna do something before. So Josh is probably not giving you a straight answer because he thinks the same thing, and he wants to see action before he commits to something like that with you, because you have a bad rep with that. And that's one of the things about I can say all my friends is they'll give it to me straight. I say that, and I also say that, Josh was dancing around the question, but he knows how sensitive I am. And he didn't want to hurt my feelings by saying, like, hey, like, you don't have your shit together. Like, I don't want to move in with you till you get that done. Which, in reality, he should have been able to say that and me understand that he's telling me to grow up and be an adult. And that's just that. Everybody goes through stuff, and, I've been making it seem like that mine's been the worst out of anybody. When there's people out there, to this day, probably as I'm speaking, going through a lot more worse things than I could even imagine. But I kind of took that, what Woozy said, and I'm just like, it hit me. I'm just like, damn, that's probably 100% correct. So, I think it was like a week, maybe week or two, and I called Josh, and we were just casually talking like we always do, talk about, what we're gaming on, or at the time it's PC build, or, whatever, just chopping it up like bros do. And I hit him with, the convo me and Woozy had. And he says, well, Anthony hit it right on the money. I'm just like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah. I'm just like, well, for future reference, if it's something as serious as that, like that subject, don't be afraid to hurt my feelings. Because I'm getting to the point where I need to put this sensitive side of me behind. I mean, not necessarily be like have no feelings at all, but like not let certain like stuff like that affect me. And I told him that, and we've been talking here and there about my job situation and stuff. Obviously not like recent because like I said, it's been a rough past few weeks, 3 weeks. But I actually called him 2 days ago, and we talked for about half an hour, just talking about stuff here and there. And again, it was like I didn't feel like he was ignoring me, but like I called him right before him and his girl were about to go eat, and he was like talking to her and trying to listen to me and like responding to her. And like in that moment when I'm on the phone with him, I literally just like sat my phone down on my desk. I'm like shaking my head. I'm just like, he doesn't care about a word I'm saying. But then that's the sensitive me coming out. When like that's this talking. Up here I'm just like, bro, it's 7:30 going on 8. He has to go back to work tomorrow because he was just on vacation. He has to go back to work tomorrow. It's around dinner time. He's been sick all week. He wants to go out with his girl, and you're calling them around dinner time when he's going to go out eat with his girl. And like afterwards, like an hour or two after we got off the phone, was when I was like talking to myself about that, and that's the overthinking I do. It's like, yeah, like he probably didn't mean it the way I was taking it. I always take everything so personal. So I just like, okay, like whatever, maybe I'll call him on one of my off days when he's working, and just we can rip and run, talk, whatever. Because we used to call each other every day. We lived together, and I got so used to talking to him while he was working, I would know when like he's with a customer, or talking to, or he has to put me on hold and talk to a soup, or talk to another driver, or whatever. And I got used to that. But we would still have like 4 or 5 hour long conversations every day. And then on top of that, he's told me within the last month that he's just doing his own thing right now. which I get it. Like, sometimes you just want time away from everybody else and just do your own thing. But with me, it's kind of bad timing because like everyone, like all of people, everyone I know in my circle, my family, everything, like everyone's want to do their own thing, and I'm I've always done my own thing, and I'm trying to come out and like be more social and do more stuff with everybody else, but the timing's off. If that makes sense. But um so getting off of that subject, um one of one of the biggest things that I always think about is my future. And I always think about like, I don't want to be this has been recent too, like the whole time I've been with Papa John's, this second time. I don't want to be a job hopper. I've never wanted to be a job hopper. But I've like every time I've hopped to another job, I've thought that, I was getting a better opportunity when in reality it was just another job where, you know, I'm pretty much getting the same pay, if not worse, under worse circumstances. I benefit like nothing out of it, and it's like been a vicious cycle for me. And this past time, I'm just like I really want to find something where I can be there for a minute and like that be my thing. And it's been so hard nowadays to find something like that. Especially now, like nobody's really hiring. And I'm not like picky about where I work. I want something close. I want something that pays decent. Like the pay I make now, I make $16 an hour as a shift leader at Papa John's. Most money I've ever made, hourly wise. Like even back when I was at the other Papa John's, I was making $750, $800 a week. $13, $14 an hour. But you bet your ass I was busting some tail. Working 50, 60 hours a week to make that happen. Which you do the math. I'm working more than I have free time, and that 750, 800 is not really worth busting my ass over working all those hours. So like, yeah, I'm looking at higher paid jobs. Yeah, a lot of them I run into require past experience or certain degrees from college or whatever, like stuff that I don't have, requirements I don't have. And I have not even reconsidered trying to stay with Papa John's and moving up, because every time I like get hope to do it again, it just I get promised this, promised that, and it's empty promises. So I'm over even trying that as a consideration. And people try to help me, and I'm a big like listen to your gut thing, and people go, oh, like try this or look into that or whatever, and like I don't like one ear at the other with what people tell me. Like I'll sit here and look up what they tell me, but like something just tells me like no, like I want to find something that is like when I see it and it's offered to me, I'm like my mind's like yes, like I have to think about it. It just got everything I need, everything I want, and I've told people this too. Like I'm not afraid of hard work. I mean, yeah, I've been in the food industry for almost the entirety of my work life, but even though I've been working in the food industry, like I work my ass off. Like the food industry is not easy. I mean, no work really is easy, but you deal with a lot of shit within the food industry, like especially doing it for as long as I've been doing it, like in management, bro. Like some of my friends will give me props who've never really done it to my extent, but um, you just gotta push when the shove comes. But um, but no, getting back to talking about my future. Um, I see my friends. You know, they're getting with, you know, their girls, and some are getting married. Some have kids. Um, a few have had houses. Some still have houses. Like it's like certain milestones at certain ages that you want to reach, or certain things you want to achieve at a certain age or by a certain time, or what, like setting goals, like whatever. Um, I have not allowed myself to try for any of that because I've locked myself into, you know, this that I've been in. I broke out for about a year with the last Papa John's I was at. And I got the Malibu when the Explorer died, and then moved out to my own apartment, and then the whole thing with Reagan happened. And a lot of you who watch my videos know about that. I don't need to go into details, but a lot of that, especially that time, I always blamed her. And I mean, the manipulation was real. There's no doubt about that. She 100% used me. But the blame of, why I got stuck in the food industry, or the blame of why I didn't take my shot at UPS again, or the blame of why I'm in debt, I always blamed her. And it took a few years for me to, man up and be like, that was me. Like, she didn't make me make those decisions. I made those decisions. I decided to max out all my credit cards on her. I decided to, you know, sell half my belongings to take her out one weekend for both days, even though she had already broken my heart and she had put me debt, made me put myself in debt. I can't word that the way I want to, but you guys get the gist. I made all those decisions. She didn't force me. She didn't hold a gun to my head or anything. But like I said, the manipulation of my feelings was 100% there, and you can't deny that. Someone who's in love and like shows it every time he can, and you don't feel the same way. Someone like her, she 100% used that against me. But I allowed it to happen. So it's all me. But that was the little taste of freedom that I had, and I ruined it. And because of how bad I ruined it, it's affected the next time I'm going to be able to taste that freedom. I still owe. So when I left that apartment, I owed, last month's rent, which was. I signed a 13-month contract with them, lease, whatever. I knew someone who worked there at the time, and I didn't want to move back home. And she extended it, I think, like 2 months or something like that. Like, that whole time after she left, I was super depressed. And I kept, I was paying, okay, she left in April, right? I'm just going to explain a little bit of this so you guys understand how this, is still affecting me today. So, when it all happened, it was April. I paid that month's rent without her help. She was helping me for a few months when she lived with me. And the following month was when depression hit really bad. I didn't pay rent that month. So I didn't pay rent in May. Well, I called up homegirl at the leasing office that I knew. I was like, hey, like, I need help, da 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 da. Well, she got it pushed back to the end of June. So I'm paying May's rent in June. But she's like, I don't know how she did it, but she made it work to where I wasn't getting evicted, even though I was getting eviction notices on my door every month. It didn't hurt my credit either, so she's going for that. So my last month's rent, I was supposed to pay a month after I moved out. I never paid it. It was so my original rent was $1,100, and because they extended it a few months, I stayed, and then I eventually gave up. I'm like, I can't do this. I moved out, so it was like $200 more a month. So it was like 2 or 3 months I stayed longer. That was like $200 more. So I was paying $1,300. Well, it'd been 5 or 6 months after I moved out. I hadn't paid. No, I paid one payment. I paid them $300. So I owed them $1,000. But after that first payment, I didn't pay them again. Well, then it got sent to collections, and collections like, hey motherfucker, like you don't pay us, we're gonna come get your ass. And it's like, chill, whatever. We made a payment plan or whatever. And it was some weird whatever. It was like 120 every like month and a half or something. I paid them once, then didn't pay them again, and here I am. But they still like calling me and shit. I changed my number, found my new number, keep calling me. And not to mention all my other debt. But that's like the big one that's affecting. All of my debt brought my credit score really, 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 really low. Lowest I saw was like 420. When I moved into that apartment and got the car and everything, I was like mid 700s. Like if I would have kept it up, I would have been damn near perfect credit score. I let everything go, and it wasn't until I want to say like a month or two ago, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I had one of those nights where I was just sitting here and I couldn't sleep, and I was just like, I'm so tired of like wanting to do stuff of my own and be my own person, decide whatever. But I'm stuck because I can't even apply for an apartment because I still owe the other apartments. Like I still owe the debt collectors. So I went out to my car and I found all my credit cards, and I started looking up numbers. I started looking up, how to make payment plans, all this shit. And I found one, but it was really because I had 3 credit cards that they all got canceled. A credit one, a capital one, and a Discover. Well, the one that I found, it was actually both credit and capital, and I set something up with them where it's like 180 a month or 120 a month, and I paid them, and I still have to call Discover to set that up, but I think it was past 2 months. I finally got in contact with the people who I owe for the apartment, and I've made 2 payments since then. So I'm slowly getting there, but my goal was to have all this paid off by the time Josh's lease ended, so we can move in together. Because he straight up told me when I moved in with my mom, I don't want to live with you unless you can legally be on the lease. Because I told him, hey, like if you get the apartment, because he could afford it, and his what he makes could cover it and everything when they do the wages check and all that. Hey man, if you apply for it, like I'll pay my part. Like don't worry about it. And he was like, no, because he had a bad experience before. I was butthurt about it at first, but then like over time I understood, and I understand now. But yeah, that's what I've been dealing with for the past however long it's been. On top of a few years ago, got diabetes, um, and the whole roller coaster ride I've been on with Papa John's. It's been a lot, and even though it's been a lot, um, it's been a lot mentally, it's been a lot physically, it's been a lot emotionally. I've had you know great people that I've met, great friends that I have still to this day that I talk to, and even though they try to give me advice to go in the right direction, my head ass won't take it. But it's nice to know that I have those friends, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why I've been feeling this loneliness, because they've all tried to help me. Everyone's tried to help me. And you know what they say, you can't help someone who doesn't want help. And I've been acting like for God knows how long, I don't want help. And maybe I'm too far gone. I don't know. But if I could get help, I appreciate it, and I take it. But if I've got to go into this by myself and dig myself out of the hole, so be it. I did it to myself. But yeah, a lot of this, I hope the right people watch this and listen to everything I had to say, even though a lot of it was just rambling about stuff you guys already know. But I have been up since 11 o'clock yesterday. I feel like it's better every time I've made these. By the way, every Dreamers vs. Reality I've made, I've always been tired as fuck, like no sleep, whatever. Because I feel like I can just talk to the screen, this camera, all that for so long, and it's, I wouldn't say it makes for good content, but I'll talk, and you guys have seen that obviously. But I get what I need to get out, and I feel like me admitting all this is something that a lot of people around me have wanted to hear me say for a while. And it's not that I'm bad at admitting when I'm wrong, because I'm not. I'll admit when I'm wrong every time. But it's just taken a while for me to realize that I was wrong. I mean, me saying it that way doesn't make sense, kind of, but it makes sense to me. And I'm sorry if it's confusing to you guys. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I guess you could say, easier way to say is that I've matured. I guess that's a better way to say it. But I keep looking over, seeing that it's going on 40 minutes, and I know these have all been long, but I don't want to drag it just because I want to talk in circles. But yeah, all in all, I feel like I've realized what I've done, to get myself this far down, this far gone, and I know what has to be done to fix it, and I gotta do what I gotta do. But this is gonna be the first of many videos that I am gonna make up until June 18th. My first video is already out, the return video. I don't know what I'm gonna call it yet, but I've already been thinking about bangers, how I'm gonna make it and everything. But I hope you guys are excited for the other videos to come. Like I said when this all started, I was never quitting. But yeah, I'm not gonna go back over that again because I'll repeat everything and just keep talking. But yeah, I hope you guys are excited for the videos to come. I hope you guys, if you did stay all the way through and listen to me, admit that I'm a dumbass, please drop a like. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe. Become a son of Anarchy today. You don't have to. But I'm gonna go to bed now. Always stay different. I love you guys. Peace out.